And as it turns out, we were going to try to sit together, but I actually had a seat for the front row, and Ray had a seat for literally the back row. And I wasn't thinking, nobody was going to switch their front row seat for his back row seat. So we didn't even get to ride, we didn't even get to fly together on the plane from fucking Denver to Seattle. So we get to Seattle, and we land there, and we meet this fucking dude and his fiance on a Thursday night, I want to say, and the wedding's supposed to be on Saturday. Maybe it was a Wednesday night.
They're wearing fucking sombreros.
Oh, they're wearing fucking big sombreros and shit. Oh yeah. Okay, but prior to this, we had all kind of like, we all were like MySpace friends. This was prior to the Facebook explosion. So we had like seen some, yeah, this is like 8 years ago.
We're dating ourselves.
Okay, so whatever, I'm fucking young, so I don't give a fuck how long ago it was. In any case, and there was like this picture of them on their MySpace with these giant sombreros being all fucking la-da-da-da, so they thought it'd be funny if they wore the sombreros. So we get off this plane, and then we find these people by like the baggage claim, and there's two fucking people. One weird-looking dorky dude who's a little more built than I thought he'd be, and one kind of slightly pudgy chick who was uglier than I thought she'd be, fucking wearing giant sombreros. And so we meet up with them, and it's all like la da da da, you know, we're all having a good time. We get to meet them. Maybe it was a Wednesday. I feel like there was a couple days in between. But anyways, so we get back to his place in bumfuck Washington, because like Washington exists of only bumfuck and Seattle. Okay, so it's like a fucking hour-plus drive from there to his house, and we go there, and we stop at some fucking rest stop to piss along the way.
Dude,
the fucking bathrooms are literally, they were, whatever, it was a long fucking drive. In any case, there was this rest stop we fucking stopped at, was no joke, like, basically wooden shacks with like wooden toilets where you would like piss into what were holes in the ground. Not like plumbing. There was no flushing. There was like holes in the ground. So you want to talk about like bumfuck? I've never been to Mexico, but I'll take your word for it.
That's the holes in the ground?
What many people don't know about Washington is that over half of it, eastern Washington, is a fucking desert. And that's what John was dealing with. He's like, that's some rest stop in the middle of a fucking desert. And
dude, I'm all about peeing outside. Like, you want to pull over the car, piss on the street, I got that. Like, I'll pee wherever. Like, I got no problem with that. Whatever, let's flip it out and go. But like, what I didn't think is that we would stop at what I thought was a civilized rest stop, and I would be pissing into what was essentially a barrel over a hole in the ground. Okay, because that's what was happening. In any case, we handle that.
It's in buttfuck, like he says.
In case you didn't know, Troy also lives in Washington, so he's got a lot of pride. He's going to defend it. In any case,
not defending it. It fucking sucks in Eastern Washington. No, man, I'm from Seattle, son. Like, I am not from Spokane or like.
All right, Enumclaw, 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 Washington. That's where Troy's actually from. Okay, he's not from Seattle. Just like I'm not actually from Chicago. I'm from Joliet. In any case,
from Joliet.
And no one will fuck Enumclaw is either, but don't claim something you're not.
I have a Denver address.
Alright, in any case, whatever. We get back to this dude's house to meet a couple of his friends. We meet like his best man. Some of the people are there. We're chilling out. They were talking about going out, but at the time Ray and I were only 20, so we couldn't even fucking go out to a bar or anything like that. So we're fucking chilling. We ended up watching some bullshit comedy special on not Netflix, because that wasn't a thing then. It was like on DVD or whatever the fuck.
Yup.
And whatever, it's all fun. A lot of that, we just met each other. We had a little conversation for a little while. We're just hanging out. It's late by the time we get back. Everybody goes to sleep. As it turns out, there's like kind of a guest bedroom situation. But apparently, Ray, the loudest fucking snorer of all time, you can't share a bedroom with the motherfucker. You gotta sleep separate. So I ended up rocking couch all week. Cool. Not a big deal. I can rock couch. I can handle that, right? But literally, it was like he would take a nap in the afternoon. Door closed. We're in the living room. TV's on. We have to turn the volume up because Ray's snoring is over the fucking volume. Which, by the way, if you haven't gotten that checked out, you probably should. Whatever, right? So, I'm pretty sure we got on a Wednesday night because I think we hung out all day on Thursday, just kind of doing whatever, talking to people, getting to know people, la la la. And then Friday rolls along, and they got this little small hall. It's kind of a smaller wedding, but they're going to have the wedding and the reception in the same room. So we literally get roped in to like spending all day Friday fucking setting up decorations, which weren't even that good, by the way. It was a very small class, low-key wedding.
Like, by all day, he means like the event of all of doing it took at least 6 hours. The actual time we spent setting stuff up was not that close, but it was at least 6 hours of the day that we killed doing very subpar wedding decorations.
Oh my god.
So we're getting through all of this, and you know they're doing a kind of a rehearsal thing, and they got like their reverend or their priest or whoever the fuck marries people in religious terms, and you know we're kind of going through that, and they're kind of discussing the setup because like the reception's going to be in the same room. So obviously you can picture you've been to weddings before. I mean there's a lot of chairs involved. For a reception there's more of a table sort of atmosphere. So then the dude who's getting married just kind of assumes that Ray and I are down, which I don't mind helping, but it wasn't even like a question was asked. It was more of an understanding, like this is what I need you to do. Hey, by the way, after the wedding's over, we're going to go outside and take pictures, and there's like a bar downstairs, and we're going to like have a lot of the guests kind of hang out there, and we need you guys to help like put all these tables away and set up all these chairs and put these tablecloths out and do all this stuff and set it up. We're like, okay, and like what are we going to say? We're staying at the guy's house, we're here for his wedding. I mean, it would have been nice if it was asked ahead of time. It wasn't. It was just kind of assumed that this was what was going to happen. So we did it. Fine. Yeah, no problem, dude. We got you. We'll set it up, right? This whole process is a huge fucking clusterfuck. Like, whatever you can imagine, like, it's that bad. Like Ray says, we spent like 90 minutes setting stuff up, but it took like 6 or 7 fucking hours. People were taking trips to go to places for like no reason. I was just trying to smoke the whole fucking time. Like, I didn't fucking get it. It was fucking shitty. Like, all I wanted to do was go outside and chain smoke and get stoned. Like, it was just fucking terrible.
No, dude, we weren't even smoking weed.
Oh, we weren't even smoking then. That's right. Oh, that's the tail end of the story. Okay, that's the best part of the story. Okay, so it's just fucking terrible. So, like, all of this wraps up, but because it was a 90-minute to 2-hour fucking venture that took 6 to 7 hours, as you can imagine, there was some confusion, there was some headbutting, there was some people not agreeing on stuff, so of course, chaos ensues, right? And the bride and the groom aren't getting along. No, hold on. It started like earlier there. They weren't agreeing on stuff. They weren't happy. They want to do things differently.
I'm surprised.
No, hold on. Just hold on. Hold on. You don't know her. If you must be a pretty girl because you can do that without people challenging you because everybody knows that hot girls can do whatever they want. Her, not so hot, not as capable of getting away with whatever she wants. So cherish those good looks as long as you can. Cherish those good looks, girl. I'm telling you that.
100% true though.
So we get back, and they're trying to do the whole, bride doesn't see the groom like the night before for a whole 24 hours thing or whatever. So it's like me and Ray and the groom and like this groomsman. I don't even remember anybody but Mark. There was some other people there, I think.
Mark and Angela.
Oh, his girl, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's like the 5 of us hanging out,
He's allergic.
and they're trying to do the thing.
That was weird, but yeah.
And we're hanging out like at his house. Because that's where the dudes are hanging out, right? We're just going to drink, we're going to watch some fucking shitty movies, we're just going to get fucked up, we're going to have a good time, right? And whatever ended up happening...
After the wedding or before?
No, oh my god, no. This is the day before, though. This is Friday night, like 9, 10 o'clock after the way elongated fucking setup. Kind of, yes.
There was
What was the bachelor party if this...
Yeah, there was no bachelor party, so this was it.
Okay, so recognize the fact that there's like no more than like 6 people there, assuming I'm forgetting some person, and 2 of them are me and Ray.
Yeah, and we had a bunch
This
of...
may be your best man. I promise you'll have a better bachelor party, for God's sake.
And we've never met any of each other before, so at no less than 1/3 of the people there, no more than 40% of the people there had never met each other. Well, actually, we had never met anybody, but we were both fucking strangers. So at a certain point in the night, fucking Vicky is the bride to be's name. She's there getting stuff, or they're having some conversation, or they're working some details out, or whatever the case may be, and it starts to get kind of heated. They're starting to have conversation about it, and next thing you know, the 3 or 4 of us who aren't the bride of the groom, we're kicking in the living room, and there's what is clearly raised voices and an argument taking place in the living room. Now, granted, this is a very small place. It's got 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, super tiny kitchen, medium-sized living room. It's like it's essentially an apartment because it's part of like a complex. It's a building. There's not like multiple tiers to it, but it's one building.
It's a studio apartment with walls.
Okay.
The thing was small.
It's a little bigger than that. But in any case, there's like 4 of us kicking in the living room, and they're in their bedroom, and like after like a couple of minutes, it was like rah, 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 like shout. I mean, I'm sure you've had fights before. Like, let's be honest, you've shouted at dudes for no reason. So, oh, thank you, Ark. That makes my night so happy. Now, with that said, they're shouting, so we all decide to move out to their deck area. Like, let's get a little further away. We don't all want to be listening on this. Let's just all go out here so we can, like, actually talk to each other without their shouting being in the background. So we're kicking it, the 3 or 4 of us, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. We're chilling outside, and after so long, she comes storming out. What does she say, Ray? Get him drunk enough or something?
She says, make sure he drinks a lot tonight.
Alright, she wants him to get fucked up, alright, because they just got into some big argument, right? So she comes storming out, says, make sure he drinks a bunch tonight or something. I feel like there was like a so or Justin like kind of thing, but she definitely implied that we wanted to make sure he drank a lot.
Why?
Because they were arguing and disputing stuff, and they were having fucking marital distress, okay? I'm sure you're aware and familiar.
And drinking's gonna help.
She's not smart. Nope. She's not attractive. She's a terrible healer. She could be dead, and I wouldn't shed a tear. I'd be happy for the world. Okay? So, like, obviously, she couldn't figure shit out. Alright? So, like,
there
when you walk off...
It's worse than you, Luna.
So... she gets off their little patio deck area. It's like a deck. It's a couple of steps to walk out into, like, what is a conjoined yard for, like, the 3 other fucking places that live in this building. And it's probably 15 steps from there to, like, the car. And she hasn't completed those 15 steps before the groom-to-be walks out, grabs a bottle of Smirnoff that's just sitting there because we were making drinks or whatever, and just goes to town.
No, like...
I mean, he fucking, like, hits... Yeah. I mean, we're talking shots. We're talking 5, 6, 7 shots. Like, he just fucking kills this Smirnoff, right? And then, so then she's gone, and there's the 5 of us hanging out, which, by the way, not counting the groom, only 2 people actually know this dude. To me, he is Hell Hades, the warrior tanks for our Kara runs. Okay? So, like, I don't really know Jeff the person. I know Hell Hades, the warrior tank. And their argument proceeds to spill over into our time on the patio, and that's fair, because he's like in a distraught sense, and he's supposed to get married tomorrow, and him and his lady just got into a big fight, and he's kind of questioning his decision, whatever, so I respect that. So, like, he's going around, he's like, he literally wants I have no idea, mid-20s, maybe like like early 24 to 26-ish. I mean, Ray, if you know better, chime in.
Like, they're older than me. Like, when I lived with Jeff, I don't
Just
know.
text Jeff now and ask him how old he is, and we'll fucking subtract 8 years. We'll figure it out.
He's 30-something right now, but it's too late for him, dude. He's fucking remarried and has a kid now, I think.
Yeah. They were like 20... I didn't know that. They were like 24 to 26. Whatever. So, we're sitting here... Way to kill the punchline, Ray. And he's literally asking everybody's opinion. And, like, it was my turn to talk before it was Ray's turn to talk. And I'll never forget this. This is like one of my defining moments of Ray and when I got to know about him. And, like, I was just really vague. Like, I wasn't trying to be that guy. I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know you that well. I know her even less well. I don't know what you guys just talked about. I'm just here for a wedding. Like, I was just like, dude, you gotta do, like, what's best for you, just, insert generic helpful remarks, like, nothing actually insightful. And it goes around the circle, like, somebody else talks, and then it's like Ray's turn to talk, and Ray just kills it. He goes full-blown, like, if you knew the dude for, like, 10 years and he was your best man, he was like, oh, here's my advice, And I'm just standing there thinking, like, Ray, what are you doing, dude? Are you fucking serious? Like, I don't even know these fucking people.
Disagreed. Wait, that's huge.
Well, no, I mostly agreed with what he had to say, but I just didn't want. It wasn't my place to, like, give that advice. I didn't think. But Ray's not, now at this stage in my life, I'd just be like, dude, that bitch fucking sucks. You got to get out of this now. But that was then. This is that was then. This is now. But go ahead, Ray, defend yourself.
No, I wasn't going to defend myself at all. Like, I didn't even necessarily give him the yes or no on to get married. I just gave him advice.
But you gave brutal advice.
Oh,
you gave
absolutely.
brutal advice. Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Did you lean one direction or the other?
I am 100% honest, and I assessed the situation the way that I saw it, and the way that I knew them through how I knew them, and their interaction, which was very minimal, but I was 100% honest because that's the question that he asked.
Dude, you could never aspire to be as honest as I am. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. You have no tact. That's your problem. But we'll talk about that at a later date.
No bullshit. I say Ray traditionally, and I've had the ass end of this before, but you ask him his honest opinion, like, he'll just straight up give it. You want his opinion, he's got an opinion, he'll tell you what it is.
Oh, so that's not my role anymore? So now I've got to be like somebody else? Like, who am I supposed to be?
You give your opinion without anybody asking, and so do I.
I'll take that role. Deal. I'm not offended. I like it.
No, it's good. You guys did fine.
Okay, so we're chilling there, and, like, there's, like, one dude there, Mark, his best man, who, like, actually knows the dude, and he gives an opinion, and we go around the circle, and everybody gives their advice, and after, like, however long, hour and a half, whatever, we wrap this up finally, and, like, the groom-to-be is like, okay, fuck it, let's just drink some more, let's have a good time. And we're like, yes. Like, everybody is like, emphatically, yes. Like, let's just drink some more and have a good time. So, we go about that. The rest of the night kind of goes on event. We end up just kind of, like, kicking it with, like, some random comedy nonsense on TV. We're just drinking, we're all bullshit and la-da-da-da, right? And then we all go to bed, like, late. I don't know, it's like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there, late in the AM hours by the time we get to bed. And
I'm not even sure.
It's really early, like.
I'm not even sure Jeff slept.
Yeah, he probably didn't sleep, yeah. But it's probably like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and I get a phone call from Jeff, and I'm like half asleep, but my phone's on a ringer and shit, and it wakes me up. And he's like, hey, man, we decided, we're not going to have the wedding. We're going to push it back, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my God.
So what had happened is like him and her and both of their sets of parents had gotten together for breakfast that morning. And the general conclusion was that, like, the wedding was not the right thing to do. Now, what is important for a little bit ahead of time, what I'm going to say, is that her parents were down for the wedding. The only people, and all of Jeff's friends we talked to, all the advice that was given by friends of his that I actually knew for several years was that this shouldn't happen when he asked for honest opinions. The only people that I was aware of, and still am aware of to this date, that think the wedding should have happened was her, the wife-to-be on some level, and her parents. Okay? Now I got a phone call super early. I'm going to get there. Whatever you're going to say, I promise I'm going to get there. So I get this phone call early in the morning, and I'm like half asleep. I'm just like, all I want to do is go back to bed. And I'm like, all right, dude. I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't even care. And so I get back to sleep. I wake up later. Troy and I share a series of texts about what has happened, because Troy was also invited because he had met this dude prior. And was going to come to the wedding, and had also received like a text or a phone call or whatever. So Troy was like texting me at the time, and Troy and I had met at this point. It was years after this Troy and I met. But at this point,
That's true.
he was texting me about it, and we were trying to figure out, should he come out here? Should we
I
like
met
get
you
together
at
for a beer? Yeah, that was the first time. Yeah. Wow, dude. Wow, so many years later. It's so weird.
In Colorado,
That is
right?
fun. A long, strange journey it's been.
Yes.
Oh, it was Chicago first, and then we went to Denver. In any case, talk about that later if you want. So the whole wedding thing is canceled, and like we fall asleep and wake up, and then like after I wake up, I'm like, okay. I'm like trying to okay, wait. I did get this phone call a couple hours ago. Like it's like early still, like 9 or 10. Like I just slept like another hour, 2, 3 hours, whatever. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And I'm pretty sure Ray and I had a conversation, but I can't remember like the specifics of it.
It was,
And
the morning cigarette was a
as it
very
turns
interesting
out-
conversation.
Yes, absolutely. The morning cigarette was interesting. So. Sorry, wrong button. So, as it turned out, they had a lot of people in, not only from out of state, but also from out of town, who by the time word had spread were already in town, were already doing things, so they were going to have everybody over. Plus, they had already paid for, like, catering and stuff like that, so they had everybody over at their super, super tiny apartment, and we're talking 30 people probably, maybe more, that actually showed up.
Yep.
Like cousins, brothers, sisters, like parents, all that stuff, right? And so we're kicking it.
Standing outside.
No.
Most of the guests were standing outside. Like, it was crazy busy.
So we're sitting here, and everybody there is like standing on needles because they were all, and everybody's like dressed. Like the dudes don't have their jackets on anymore, but Luna as a lady, you can respect like once you're dressed up, you're dressed up. So like the dudes were able to like kick their ties off and take their jackets off and stuff like that, and kind of be a little lower key. But all the ladies there are kind of wedding gear, wedding attire, ready to go. And, so there's a lot of really pretty well-dressed people. Now, I'm not, because I never got dressed for the wedding, because I knew way ahead of time, so I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Yep.
Like, I had clothes for the wedding, but I wasn't going to wear them around his house on that Saturday because shit got canceled. So, there's tons of people there, right? Now, we're playing, like, Magic, like, out on the fucking balcony at their outside table. Like, groups of people are kind of catching up. And we're sitting there eating their food, and at some point, there's an open spot on what would be, if you're facing the couch, the most left spot in the couch. And Ray's like, hey, I'm going to sit here and eat my piece of what was supposed to be their wedding cake, right? We're eating what was supposed to be their wedding cake at this party because they already had it made. And Ray got his, he's like, I'm going to chill on this couch, which, makes sense, because be comfortable, right? Couches are comfortable. I'd been sleeping there. It was a comfortable couch. Like, get after it. He happened to sit next to what was supposed to be the bride's-to-be mom. And once again, as I said before, only her and her husband, being the parents of the bride, were actually thought this wedding should happen. Probably because they knew their fucking daughter was a fucking ratchet piece of shit. And peace, Tim. Thanks for hanging out, man. We'll see you on Monday. And he was like, yo, my ratchet daughter needs to latch on to this dude while she can. And Ray sits down and is like, so, how was your day? Like, he asked her, how is her day? Or some combination of that. And I happen to be, like, walking past the couch as this happens, and I'm like, double take, and just walk straight outside. Because I'm about to just start laughing, because I can't believe he approached the only people we knew wanted this wedding to happen with, how was your day, or how are you doing, or whatever. And it was super, super funny. And the look, and here's the thing, is she was super civil in her response, but if you saw her face, like, her words did not match her facial expression. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've met people, you've done things, you've been through things. And, like, and she's a dumb bitch. I don't know her that well, but I'm pretty sure she's a dumb bitch. So, she had, like, a real bitchy, like, kind of, sort of like if you had just, I don't want to say if you had eaten a lemon because it's kind of cliche, but that's all I can kind of go off of right now. But she had a real sour face about it, but she gave a very cordial response to her credit. So she's not a super dumb bitch.
Wait,
She's just
is this
a
after a wedding
standard
got
dumb bitch.
canceled?
Yes, this is like while we're eating their wedding cake. While we're eating
Why
their
would she have a
wedding
sour
cake.
face? I just can't put together any reason that would be the case.
Thank you for your input, Troy. So that happens, and I was like, oh my god, so whatever. The rest of the day goes by, nighttime hits, everybody leaves. We end up getting an impromptu Kara raid together. I don't know if you're familiar with Tarzan. It's not important if you are or not, but the point
They
is,
should
which
bring
I
back
point,
my favorite raid.
they should. But the point is that what was supposed to be their wedding night, we were fucking raiding Kara. Granted, they were doing it together, which was, I guess, sort of a step in the right direction. But I just got drunk. I hadn't been like drunk. Oh, she was terrible paladin healer. She was there. Her and I were healing together. I was on my druid. She was on her paladin.
And her non-husband,
And I was.
her not husband was tanking.
She wasn't as bad as he makes it sound.
My question is, who wanted this wedding?
Well, okay, at some point they both wanted the wedding, but preceding it, there was like their right. Thank
Jesus,
you.
We bought plane
They at
tickets, so at some point they were both interested.
right, yeah. We bought plane tickets to fucking Washington. Anyways, whatever. During it, I was really upset about it. At this point, I'm super happy I had this experience.
You ever figure out
Like
what the
now.
problem is
No, never. I mean, just it was about like kind of their differences as a whole. I mean, it was physical differences in terms of like sexual things. Like he was more religious than she was. There was a couple different things. I mean, it was the real big things, like things that like if you have different opinions on, you should never marry this person.
Theology.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I'm saying. Like they're having this conversation right before the wedding, so somebody was pushing the wedding.
She was.
okay,
She was.
whatever the case may be, who that detail is not important 8 years later after they're both fucking separated and with other people. I mean, her parents were totally down, and she was still mostly down, but everybody else kind of fucking bailed. And nobody, literally, not a single other person that we talked to while we were there thought this wedding was a good idea. And these are like relatives, these are friends who have known them for years and who interacted with them, and like we were just fucking raid buddies. Like, who the fuck are we? Like everybody else that was there did not think it should happen. So whatever. The day goes by. Ray asked the one person there who really wanted the wedding happen how her day was going while she was while we were eating their wedding cake. Which, by the way, one of the most priceless moments of my life. Like, it was worth going just for that. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it was totally awesome.
No, cherish that. Like, that doesn't happen to people. Eating the wedding cake of a wedding that didn't happen. Oh my god, dude, that's like,
I have to say, that sounds like an experience of a lifetime.
that should be a trinket in WoW, dude. Like,
Wedding cake to be 212 spirit, 183 intellect, chance on cast to increase spirit by 500 for 10 seconds. Like, is that what you want, Troy?
you know, a .001 chance of dying every time on every use.
That would be. I agree with you now. Now it needs to happen.
Every now
So
and
whatever.
again, it just fucks you.
So we end up raiding Kara, right? And I can't. I'm like literally. Like, and and maybe you can't tell. Maybe it's hard to tell because I'm a drinker these days. But like generally, I'm good at like assessing situations and remaining composed. But at this point in the night, when I'm thinking like, wow, we're supposed to be at their wedding reception, but instead we're 4 deep raiding Kara in their computer room. I've lost my fucking mind at this point. Like, I've literally like lost my fucking mind. And I'm just getting drunk, just pounding fucking
This shit
Miller
happens,
Lights.
Luna. In
No, it does not. This shit does not happen. That is a bullshit fucking
it's
statement.
happened, Luna. Like, humanity is gone. Don't even try.
It has happened. Also, everybody recognize Chad Kazonk's trying to have guild chat with everybody, and he's trying to talk over. It's very polite of him, so please acknowledge him if you want to type. And by us, I mean he doesn't want to talk over me, which is a good idea, because I'll get real fucking pissed if you talk over me. So we raided Kara. I can't recall how drunk everybody else was because I got real drunk. It was like the least successful I had with people. And it was bad. I don't even think we got past whatever the dude was. You popped the electric spears and you needed a soaker. Whatever his name was.
Yep.
JJ, get me. What's his name, JJ, get me?
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't remember his name right now.
I don't even think we got past there. It was like a struggle because, as you can imagine, emotionally nobody is invested. I'm drunk. The bride and the groom who are tanking and healing, they're fucking drinking because, you know, we're raiding Kara. I was supposed to be their wedding night. So, you know, get after it. So, what the fuck ever. Like, whatever, right? So that's Saturday. So we fly out Monday afternoon. And so Sunday comes around, and it's like Sunday afternoon. And we're kind of wrapping things up, we're kind of talking. We're not talking about the wedding to be because, you know, too soon. It's like 9/11 jokes, right? It's just too soon. So we're fucking chilling, and we're flying out of Seattle, which is like Troy had said, you know, fucking 15 minutes ago when I started this fucking story. Where they lived, or excuse me, like what Ray had said, it was Ray, not Troy, sorry. It was like 3 hours away from Seattle. And his buddy Mark, who was supposed to be his best man, actually lived in Seattle. So it's like Sunday at like...
Oh god, Brenton.
It's like Sunday at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and we fly out at like 5 o'clock Monday, and they're like, hey, you know, like it's a long drive for her because he had to work the next day, so for like what was supposed to be the fiance, or was supposed to be the wife, I don't know if they were still engaged, whatever. It's like, oh, you know, it's a drive there and back, you know, you guys just want to go and stay with Mark tonight and crash at his place and we'll take you to the airport tomorrow. And once again, it wasn't like a question was asked. It was more of a like, hey, this is what's going to happen.
This is the plan.
So,
Oh my god.
so we pack all our stuff up Sunday afternoon. We roll with this dude like the 3-hour drive over back to their place. And they have like the worst apartment, the fucking worst apartment you've ever seen. It's not like dirty per se. It's not like cluttered per se.
That's true, dude. Their place was the studio with walls. Jeff and Vicky's place was big in comparison.
Yeah, it was fucking rinky-dink, right? And so this is before like Ray and I used to smoke a lot of weed, right? And so like we're chilling there. We only have like 2 computers to use, so we're kind of taking turns playing WoW. And we're like decided like, can we just find some weed, right? Now, thankfully, saving grace of the trip is the weed we got was so good. And I remember tweaking, like just dying laughing over nothing, and it really helped pass the night by. But they had 2 bedrooms in this place, but of course like one bedroom was like his kid's room with like the girl he wasn't with, and there was like a bunch of Legos and like maybe a mat. I don't even know. It was a not cool situation. So what? I wish I could explain to you how small this room was. I wish I could explain to you how small this room was.
Oh my god.
So Ray and I end up having to sleep on the floor in this fucking room, like which is like their front room / living room, which is like really us 8.
The size. I can describe the size of the ground that we were sleeping on. The total overall floor space between the desk and the wall and the tile floor for the kitchen was about the size of a king-size bed. There was a chair in the desk, but about the size of a king-size bed was this total floor space on the ground.
So Ray and I are sleeping there, and we're both tall people, like we're both big dudes, you know, like I'm 6'2", Ray's like a little bit shorter than me, you know, like when we take up some space. And Ray, as I previously noted, is like king fucking snorer of everything that's ever fucking happened. So I have to sleep on the floor next to this fucking dude. And so we played WoW until a certain time. We went outside and got stoned, thankfully. And this is like before I even smoked, like way before I even smoked, like way before I even smoked. It was just like, this is something to do. We ordered food from Pizza Hut. Like, I worked at Pizza at the time, like in Illinois, so I finagled an employee discount to save us some money. I went with his lady to pick up the food. We went and picked up the weed. We got back. We ate the food. We got stoned. The only good experience about the whole time is that I remember playing WoW. And I don't remember why I was laughing, but like I literally was dying laughing over something super fucking minuscule that occurred in WoW.
It was Level Snap, the add-on Level Snap that took a picture every single time you leveled, and we started characters and we could not stop saying "oh snap" every time that we leveled.
Oh my god!
And we were just dying.
Oh, that is what happened.
Dying.
Whatever. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't.
It wasn't funny.
It was not funny but because of how good the weed was and the fact that neither of us had smoked in a long time. Like, yeah, it was hilarious.
I mean, that was like probably like the fourth or fifth time my entire life I had smoked. Like, no joke. So whatever. So they go through all that. It's bedtime at like whatever time at night, and Ray and I are like, oh, we're gonna sleep on your floor, I guess. Thanks for like, you know, a blanket to share and like a pseudo pillow, and
not even like subpar camping equipment. Like you couldn't even. No, it was nothing. It was literally a blanket on the carpet.
So. Whatever, Ray falls asleep right away, because that's what he does, and I'm sitting here, like, I have to wait for, like, his snoring to, like, be background noise for me to fall asleep, and I eventually fall asleep, and then we get up the next day, and without events, without anything crazy happening, we get in the fucking car, we drive to the airport, we get in our planes, and we fucking leave, and the trip is over. But that is my first experience meeting WoW friends. So I can't imagine it could ever be worse than that. And that was like way more than that. That was like a 20-minute story. But I mean, just imagine being surrounded by strangers when you go 2,000 miles away to a wedding that never happened, and instead you get drunk and raid Kara. Like,
yeah, I can't imagine.
No, you can't. Yeah, but I wasn't healing you, so it wasn't an issue.
And 6 years later, we are still very good friends.
Not Jeff. Not Jeff and Vicky.
No.
We don't know those fuckers at all.
But like 2-3 years after that, I lived with Jeff for 3 months in Washington in a tiny ass studio.
This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. Troy, Ted, Ray, JJ, John, Tim. I mean, we live in 3 different states. I'm the only person who doesn't live in a state with one of those other people. But we're all boys. We're friends for life. It's never going away.
Yup.
And that was the beginning of it. So be it.
That's awesome.
And we met on WoW. I mean, I've stayed at Ray's house. You want to hear about my Selvia trip at Ray's house? Oh my god, that is a fucking experience. I'll tell you what.